What's up, fellas? We are tackling a 2024 fantasy football draft today. We're going to be doing an Underdog Fantasy big board entry. Of course, this gives us a good idea of redraft ADPs and all the kind of stuff that we're going to be going through. We're going to be doing a ton of these throughout the summer, so should be a lot of fun. Of course, if you guys do want to join this big board draft, just wait until we're about to enter it, and then you can enter at the same time in the Underdog Fantasy lobby, and we should be able to get you into the draft with us. So again, keep in mind, when we're doing that, I will drop the link in the chat. If you guys are not Underdog Fantasy players yet, when you sign up using that link, using promo code FSE, you can get 100% back up to $100. We also come the regular season and after the NFL draft, we'll have both of our draft guides as a free gift to those of you guys that do use our code. So if you want our Dynasty Rookie Draft Guide for free, if you want our redraft guide once it comes out in July, August area for free, that of course will be one of the ways that you can get it. And also, we do have another announcement before we get into the draft. We are starting a brand new listener Dynasty League. And a lot of you guys have been asking, how do I get in a league with you guys? Basically, what it's going to be, I'm going to put the terms down below in the chat here. Essentially, to enter the league, you are going to need to be an annual subscriber to our site, Flock Fantasy. Of course, you get tons of other benefits aside from being in a league with us. All of our rankings, draft guides, blah, blah, blah. There's a ton available there. You can see that when you sign up on the site there. But when you're an annual subscriber, all you have to do is fill out that Google form that's listed there in the description of this video, as well as in the chat right now. And you can be entered to win to win a spot in that league. Annual Mother Flockers will get 2 entries, and annual Flockers will get 1 entry. And also, just a warning, we would like to make the league a little bit more higher stakes, $100 to $200 to enter. So if you're more of like a low stakes dynasty player, $30, $50 leagues or whatever, maybe this isn't the league for you. Just letting you guys know that if you do want to get into a league with us, we are going to be drawing names for that on Saturday. So Saturday, the 30th of March, make sure to sign up on Flock before then. You can sign up as long as you're an active annual subscriber, you're eligible. So if you signed up on the site 6 months ago, you're still eligible to be in this league. Or if you want to sign up and go ahead and do that right now to get ready for your rookie draft, this could push you over the top. So, Spicy, do you want to enter the big board contest here, and then we will get going?
I was going to say too, ideally with that startup, we want to have, every all the buy-ins, every little bit of the league information figured out by early April, because the goal here is the sooner we start it in early April, the sooner we want it done. We don't want this to be lingering into the NFL draft, because obviously there's imbalances in terms of information at that current point. So ideally we could start it in early April. We could probably finish it by maybe the 22nd, the 23rd, as long as it's before the NFL draft that we can finish that. So that's why we're doing it right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's measures you can take. You can cut the late rounds of the draft off if it's going too long. You can, make the clock time shorter in the later rounds, set your queue to auto draft, whatever you need to do. But yeah, the goal would be we get the drawing done April 30th or March 30th. Sorry. We get everybody in the league paid, ready to go, and start the draft on April 1st, if possible. But early April at the worst case scenario would be the ideal time to start that draft. So again, we are into a big board draft here. We're picking from the 106. I'm trying to see if I recognize any of the names here, but should be interesting to see what ends up happening throughout the duration of this draft, because, free agency dust is kind of settled here. We kind of know now where some of these big signings, the Saquon Barkleys, the Derrick Henrys of the world are probably going to settle in terms of ADP. So I'm interested to see how the dynamic of redraft leagues look so far.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, Kennifer says that the form link doesn't work for him.
Okay. Okay, it might not work from the live chat, but it is in the description of this live stream. So if you go to the description of the live stream, that form link should work for you there. If it still doesn't work, please let me know. But I'll do a new link if we need to then.
For sure. But yeah. We are going to be on the clock soon. Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, I'm assuming, is probably going to be their top 3 bog standard picks in most drafts. Yep. I mean, it ends up going in that exact order. Can you quickly see who's available with these 3? Because I'm assuming it's probably going to be between Bijan and Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I mean, getting either of these guys at 106 feels like a pretty good value so far. I think more so than last year, we're getting good values in the mid 1. I'll let you make the call here. I think I prefer Bijan, but I'm cool going Jefferson as well.
I think I lean Jefferson specifically because knowing that you can get like a Jacobs or something like that in that 2-3 turn area. on top of like I've been seeing a lot more value at running back in these drafts in terms of the ADP. So I do like getting Jefferson to anchor it down. Obviously, the reason why he's even here is the pessimism at the quarterback position. But by all accounts, he also feels like a guy that's going to be a riser because as soon as the Vikings land a Drake May, a JJ McCarthy in this draft, you may not be able to get him at 6th overall. I feel like the uncertainty nature of them having the 11 and the 23 is why he's falling to the mid first round at this point. But as soon as he has at least average quarterback play, which is your assumption, adding a high profile quarterback like JJ or Drake May in year one, I feel like by the time big best ball mania rolls around, he may be the 4th overall pick.
Yeah, and I think Sam Darnold's a capable enough quarterback that it's
Agreed.
at least better than what he was dealing with when Kirk Cousins was hurt last year. Like, he's probably not better than Kirk Cousins, but he is better than Jaron Hall and Nick Mullins and the guys that he was dealing with before that. So if it's some combination of Sam Darnold, JJ McCarthy, Sam Darnold, Drake May, or whatever, I think Jefferson has a pretty good chance to return a lot of value if you're going to be getting him here 105, 106, 107, 108, which I understand why people are doing it, though. Like, at the same time, like, I think the upside of a Bijan Robinson probably supersedes that of Justin Jefferson, assuming a rookie quarterback plays like a rookie quarterback. And same goes for like even St. Brown too. Like St. Brown has Jared Goff as a reliable, steady veteran who's going to feed him 170 targets and a great offense.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I really do feel like at this point, outside of the top 3 being the clear top 3, you can argue really even between 4 and 10 for who should go where, to be honest. Like if somebody wanted to say, I believe in Puka Nacua taking another step up, especially in the offense, given there with the Rams, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Like we mentioned, Bijan Robinson, if he went 4th overall, I would be opposed to it as well. And speaking of like what I said, we could be looking down the barrel between one of those top 4 names, and I'm cool with all 3 of the top names at this point.
Yeah, I put Marvin on the thumbnail of this video, so that would be kind of interesting to actually draft him here.
Him or Barkley?
I think I can't pass Saquon here, dude. To be honest, I can't pass him.
I'm cool with getting Barkley, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier: is getting the receiver in round 1 opens us up to take either receiver or running back in round 2. Barkley, obviously a big anchor, falls to us in round 2, and not to mention, I mean, we could still get a Malik Neighbors in round 3 or round 4, Roma Dunze in this draft too. I've seen Roma Dunze. If you check his ADP right now, Spicy, I believe it's like 4 or 5 turn.
Yeah, he's going pretty high. I don't know about you, but do you feel a lot better about the second round running backs this year than last year?
A lot better. A lot
like
better.
Like last year, the second round running backs, we had like Josh Jacobs and like some of those guys there in the second round. Like I feel much better about the outlook of say a Jonathan Taylor, a Kyron Williams, a Saquon Barkley. Maybe not so much I'm a little bit more pessimism on. I think he should be a 3rd rounder personally, but those certified workhorse Saquon, Jonathan Taylor, even Jacobs himself, who was a 2nd rounder last year, he's in a better situation this year. I feel like the projection's a little easier for those guys than it was for the guys last year. And I felt like very often last year, I was like, give me the wide receiver in this area of the draft, or even potentially an elite quarterback. And this year, I feel a little bit better about the running backs.
Yeah, while we don't feel as good about Barkley's overall workload going from the Giants, where he was getting 25 touches, to the Eagles, it's like the value of those touches, even if it's only 19 to 21 rather than 23 to 25, is more goal line opportunity inherently in a better offense. And I mean, we've seen Saquon Barkley bring the explosive nature. Could you imagine how many explosive holes is going to be happening working behind that Eagles offensive line? Yes, it's an Eagles offensive line without Jason Kelce, but even without Jason Kelce, you can make the claim that it's still one of the top 5 to 8 offensive lines in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's you'd be pretty hard pressed to see why his outlook isn't at least better than it was last year. And Saquon himself was one of those like 2nd round running backs that we were maybe not so sure about because, he was older, he played for a bad team. It was like not as crystal clear of a projection as it seems to be this year where he's playing for a much better offense. So, again, some people talked about the description link working. So again, if you guys want to fill out the Google form to get into the Listener Dynasty League, that will be down below in the description. And I also dropped another one in the chat that might work as well. Yeah. Sports Dude was actually the first one in here. We'll get to his comment after we make this pick. I think Mike
I know where I
lean.
lean.
Cash here.
I like Malik Neighbors. I like Malik Neighbors a lot here.
Over Mike Evans?
Yeah.
No chance.
Especially for
redraft. No chance.
I'm going to have it ranked that way come redraft season. As much as I like Mike Evans.
I love Neighbors. He's a great player.
He's not making
I would go Evans. Spicy, you can
break the tie. Evans or Neighbors, whoever you want. You pick it. Okay, fair. He likes Evans.
I think
I want Evans. I want Neighbors there.
I think Evans is too clear of a projection to take Neighbors. I understand taking Neighbors over, say, Pittman, who's like a little bit more of a floor play rather than Like Evans has such a high ceiling,
No,
like 10 plus touchdown ceiling, wide receiver one, pretty much I'm building our prospect model right now. And I went through Mike Evans's finishes. He's been a wide
yeah,
receiver one or better, like 8 of 10 seasons.
yeah. I understand that. And again, Evans is a really good, strong bet at that point. But at the same time, you're negating the risk of an older wide receiver at this point. Maybe although it might look like a Keenan Allen in terms of points per game aspect, you're still talking about an older receiver that's more prone to
He has shown
missing
nothing
time.
to say that he's going to slow down.
And I get that, but at the same time, we've seen it year in and year out. It's just the inherent risk of an older receiver. Whereas with Malik Neighbors, man, like, would you be shocked if he had less than 1,100 yards? Because I would.
I think that calling Mike Evans a risky pick by any stretch of the imagination
As
is flawed,
just based off his age,
most
just based
risk-free
off his
pick in
age.
all of fantasy football for 10 years.
I agree, but it's just based on his age. Even if he's not risky per se in terms of his projection, taking an older receiver is just going to be more inherently risky than a younger one.
That's fair, but I think when you look at like risky receivers who were older that missed, they weren't nearly as consistent as Mike Evans. It's like, Michael Thomas and AJ Green guys. I guess AJ Green was pretty consistent.
Michael Thomas was damn consistent before he got hurt.
He was, but he also was dealing with way more injuries too, and Evans hasn't dealt with anything realistically. He pulls his hamstring every August and we all freak out, and then he plays 17 games every year.
No, like when I'm arguing Neighbors over Evans, it's not like it's a big fucking discrepancy. Like for reference, I think both are strong third round picks. It's just wanted to take the upside shot. Like if Marvin Harrison Jr. is at the 2.8, which I think he should be at that point, I don't think Malik Neighbors should be too far behind. So the 3.6 for me, Malik Neighbors, I mean, he ends up going at the 3.7 anyway. So it kind of goes to show just how close Evans and Neighbors were. Because I'm assuming if we had taken Neighbors, Evans probably would have been that guy's pick regardless. Like, mid-third round, man, getting either of those profiles is really nice.
Yeah, for sure. So the question we have from Sports Dude here, he says, would you trade Olave for Odunze straight up? I'm a competitive team, so normally I wouldn't trade a stud for a rookie, but I've seen so many people saying to sell high on Olave. So I prefer Olave straight to Odunze in Dynasty still. As much as I love Odunze, I think Olave has already proven it in the NFL, and you can't discount that factor. So could Odunze potentially have a higher ceiling than Olave, depending on where he gets drafted to? For sure. But I think I'm going to just trust the guy who's like already still very young and proven it in the NFL at this point. So I get the idea of like moving off of a receiver who's risky for Odunze and re-rolling, but I don't think Olave is the tier of receiver you're doing that with. He's a higher tier than Odunze for me.
This has got to be T. Higgins, right?
Yeah, I'd be fine with T. Higgins. I think Smith is a fine bounce back candidate this year as well. I'm cool with either one.
The only reason why I would say Higgins is that Hurts is already off the board. So then it would be tougher to create the correlation. Whereas with Higgins, we could still get like a monster or Chase Brown and get Burrow later, and I'd be cool with that. Hopefully Odunze falls back to us, because if we can get Odunze on this team, I'd be fucking ecstatic.
Yeah, that would be a really fun build there. So we got people in the chat here. Sup, boys? What's going on, Leonardo? What's going on?
What's up, boys?
Benjamin says, good morning, fellas. In a one quarterback, 12-team PPR start 9, would you send DJ Moore plus the 102, so Malik Neighbors, for Chase and Godwin, or even just for Chase alone? I want DJ Moore and Neighbors there.
Really? In a start 9?
Yeah, I still want it's there. Godwin is a totally non-needle moving asset in a one quarterback start 9.
I mean, I guess, but like DJ Moore, what's his equivalent value in a 12-team one quarterback start 9? Probably like a mid first round pick. Yeah, I can make the case that a mid first rounder plus Neighbors is worth Chase alone, so it's a free Godwin.
I love Chase. Don't get me wrong.
He's like the 103 in a one quarterback league. Bro.
I know. He's an excellent player, but Neighbors is a back end 1, and Moore is probably a mid second. Godwin's
probably like a 4th.
No,
one quarterback. You don't think so?
No, not a chance. Because think about it, all the quarterbacks would still go before Godwin, even though it's a one quarterback league.
So maybe a 5th. Because what is he in the super flex?
He's like a 7th round pick, dude.
Yeah, but that's also with the middle class of quarterback getting propped up. He's probably a 5th round pick in a one QB.
We did a one quarterback mock. Somebody go back and check where Godwin went.
Where did he go?
Because I bet you it was like 8th round.
There's no shot he went in the 8th round of a one quarterback.
You're forgetting how many wide receivers are ahead of Godwin in the pecking order. He's like wide receiver 38 in Dynasty.
Sure. He went in the 6th round. So yeah, literally right between what we said.
I don't know. To me, I look at it, DJ Moore and Neighbors, you're getting 2 top 12 Dynasty wide receivers there. And one of them who has the ability to be as valuable as Chase too.
I'm still taking Chase, to be honest, because this is like the 102 in this draft. He went 1-1, but let's just say for E's sake the 102, because some people might have him 3, some people might have him 1. We'll take Roma Dunze, assuming he falls. If not, the pivot would. Yeah, I mean we get
The
Roma,
other
so.
option I would have thrown out there as potentially a good one was Christian Kirk. So I'm fine with Odunze there. I do actually like Pacheco at this point. I think he's probably a decent value, but I'm actually a little surprised Pacheco's going this low. I thought he would get elevated a little higher to like the mid third, late third, early fourth area, like kind of where ETN was going last year.
By the way, as much as I love Brian Thomas, him going a pick after Odunze is very, very suboptimal.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we literally just recorded the Brian Thomas film breakdown, and they are definitely not comparable prospects in terms of one pick discrepancy there. So, yeah. So
by the way, real quick,
work from the description. Just a shout out to anybody who joined late. We are starting a new Dynasty startup. It will be a $100-ish buy-in. If you guys are curious, Flock Fantasy annual subscribers is how you can get access to that league. And the link down below in the description will be the Google form you can fill out. And it doesn't matter if you sign up today for Flock Fantasy or if you signed up 6 months ago for an annual, you are still eligible to be in that league. Just reiterating that announcement.
By the way, for E's sake, in terms of the combo we were having with Chase versus Neighbors, like I said, he went 101 in this draft, but for E's sake, let's just say he's consensus 102. Malik Neighbors goes 111, DJ Moore went 3.9, and Godwin went 6.7. So it's basically the 102 plus the 6.7 in exchange for the 111 plus the 3.9. Like I in a single quarterback, I just want the star power of the 102.
Yeah, I mean, a start 9 for a single quarterback is still a relatively deep roster for a one quarterback. Like that's not a shallow roster. I don't know. I feel very good about both DJ Moore and Neighbors to the point that I think it's just a great move. Like if you told me instead of DJ Moore, that's Tank Dell, maybe I just lean Chase there. But I view DJ Moore as like borderline on the same level as like the Chris Olaves of the world in Dynasty wide receiver land.
Yeah, that's not a bad call.
Like you're about to get Caleb Williams as his quarterback. Like he has a chance to really, really be productive.
Where are we leaning here, by the way? Like I kind of like the value.
I think Addison's. We have Jefferson already too, so
we could go with Addison and then maybe wrap around with McCarthy as our QB2 hypothetically, or May.
I mean, why would we do that when Drake May is going to start for them?
I don't know if I could pass on Pitts here though, bro. In the 6th round. We don't have a tight end. We have 4 receivers.
Comfortably pass on Pitts in the 6th round. I would like if he's there with the next pick, I'd be okay taking him. But the tight end position is quite rich here at this point in the board, and my camera just died, so I'll go change my battery quick. But yeah, you can take over for a second.
Fair, okay. Yeah, so I mean, we're obviously hoping that Pitts or Kittle fall back because I mean we do have 5 deep at wide receiver right now, which is really nice to be. Though, can we really pass on Burrow? I mean, I'm assuming, Pitts is gone. I'm assuming Kittle's going to be gone, so it's probably a moot issue regardless because we're probably going to get Burrow anyways, but hopefully this guy doesn't take Burrow. Does he have Chase? Click on his team. He takes Prescott. Okay, that's good for us. We don't need Dak in this instance, though. It's never bad to have Dak. But yeah, let's see what's available here. We are 4 picks away. I'll get to some comments while we're going through it. What you say? Oh, big box. Yeah, why is that guy's box so huge? Why does he have a huge box? What a large box. That's a pretty damn big box. Don't kill me. Where did we leave off? Farm link doesn't work. Hopefully it does for you now. Corey's about to hop.
It's because the guy's name is massive. That's why his box is so huge.
He's got a massive name and a massive box. I'll tell you that. Sorry, I'm actually a child.
Yeah, you are. Also, Kennifer says, I signed up as a mother flocker with FSE. Is it true I can get a dynasty roster review? So yeah. If you signed up annually, Kennifer, you actually are entitled to a consultation as well. If you want to sit down on a call with one of us and talk about your team, but you can also just submit a team for dynasty decisions. Anyways,
we got sniped.
I think JSN's pretty big value here too.
I don't mind JSN, but we do have
our receiver core could be like, we just end it pretty much after JSN here.
I'm cool with that. We got sniped big time on Joe Burrow, which is not great.
Yeah, I like JSN here, dude. Our receiver core is lethal.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty funny that he's going in the exact same range as he was last year, despite basically no changing variables.
Yeah, I think this is a 7 wide receiver build, to be honest, or maybe
we're closing off with only 1 left, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, there's 20 rounds, so maybe you get to 8, but I would say 7 wide receiver. Like this is maybe even a minus EV pick of us to take another wide receiver. But at the same time, man, like JSN to
Well,
me, I was like, that's a pretty
well,
screaming
but
upside play in the
and,
7th round.
and that's kind of why I made the case for Pitts at our last pick, knowing that we are probably going to get a good receiver to fall
Yeah, I
back.
mean, we probably should have gone Pitts in hindsight, but we did
Yeah.
have Jefferson, and we can stack up the
Yeah.
Vikings if we
I mean,
want to now.
to be fair, it would have worked out if Burrow had fallen back to us, but this freaking Andy guy just absolutely rips us apart. And maybe that's our fault because he literally has Chase. Like we should have picked up on the fact he was probably going to take Burrow. But yeah, it
Warrior
happens.
King says, where can you submit that at? To submit a team for Dynasty Decisions or the forum, whichever one you're talking about. Both links are down below in the description. And if you're talking about a Zoom consultation, just, when you sign up as an annual mother flocker, just reach out to us on Discord or Twitter and say, hey, here's my sign up. I'm looking to book my consult, and we'll get that set up for you as well. So whatever question you had there, hopefully I answered it.
For sure.
Cody says, can't wait to get Vikings Drake May at 103 because people are so high on Marv. Yeah, that's an interesting question. Let's say Marvin goes 104 to the Cardinals, and the Vikings do indeed trade up with the Patriots to take Drake May. Are you taking Drake May on the Vikings with 3rd overall draft capital, or Marvin Harrison on the Cardinals with 4th overall draft capital?
I think it obviously depends on the construct of your team. I lean base value wise Marvin because of how well he's thought in dynasty markets. But if you need a quarterback and you're good at wide receiver, like you're not just going to force a receiver pick there. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, in a neutral team situation, I think I actually lean May, just given that his startup value should be insulated as a quarterback. But there's probably going to be a lenience one way or another on your roster. So Stevenson, I think, is a great pick as our 2nd running back.
I don't hate Swift at this cost.
I don't either, but I think Stevenson's fallen well past ADP also, which is a nice texture change too.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
Call me crazy here, dude, but like, how different is Ramondre's outlook this year than it was last year? I know Antonio Gibson signed there, and like, sure, he's like a threat to his receiving work, but like Antonio Gibson makes mistake after mistake after mistake. Like, you think an old school coaching staff is gonna like keep him on the field all the time? Like, I guess the risk there is that they draft like Trey Benson in round 3 or something. But if they don't, if Ramondre makes it clean out of the NFL draft with no major running back talent added, he's gonna be a 4th round pick again.
Probably. Now, I keep coming back to the fact too, like at the 8-7, you can paint the picture for him being an RB1 because he's literally been an RB1 just 2 years ago before he was hurt. So if you can paint a picture of a guy that you take at the 8-7 being an RB1, he's probably a worthwhile pick. Yes, is there risk involved because he didn't look quite as good last year because he was banged up? Sure. But if he didn't have the risk level, like you said, he would probably be at least a top 4 round, possibly a 3rd round draft pick.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he has a really, it's still a pretty good projection. Like I said, Corey loves a bet. Yeah, Corey does love a bet. I'm actually taking a little bit of a break from betting right now because
he doesn't believe you.
Yeah, he doesn't believe me. I was just I'm like, you know what? I'll just wait till the NHL playoffs and the Masters to throw some bets down the NFL draft. I'm like, there's no need to bet in the middle of March. I don't give 2 shits about college basketball. It just seems like a stupid thing to be doing.
What can we get an anchor quarterback at this pick? Who's available?
Yeah, quarterback would be nice. This is like, I mean, because Herbert? We're going to be how is Herbert on the board?
That's instant.
Also, there's on the off chance that Odunze goes to the Chargers, that would be really nice.
Herbert at this pick is insane if we can get him. Why is he a 9th round pick?
Yeah, that's insane, dude. Do you think that it's possible that, like, let's say Marvin goes
Herbert
to 4 to the Cardinals? Do you think it's possible Jim Harbaugh would prefer Rome Odunze to Malik Neighbors?
Oh, I think he would prefer Rome Odunze to Malik Neighbors. I think like I'd be shocked if they took Neighbors, man, because Rome Odunze seems like the type of fit that Jim Harbaugh would want out of.
He's also a Keenan Allen replacement as well, like the type
Keenan
of
Allen replacement, size, inside out versatility. Like as much as I like Malik Neighbors, man. A lot of his stuff was coming from off coverage, working in the slot. Whereas with Rome Odunze, you do have that inside out versatility at least day one, especially for them needing that number 1 target right off the bat, man. You lose Mike Williams, you lose Keenan Allen. Why not get a guy that, while he's not good at one or the other like those guys, can do both right off the bat? Now, do I think he can end up being as good as Keenan Allen, as good as Mike Williams? Absolutely. But at the same time, having that guy that can play both roles and be interchangeable is more valuable than the one that, as dynamic as Malik Neighbors is, doesn't quite have that versatility, I would say.
Yeah. I think he does really make sense as like the right fit for thing. I'm actually checking because Flett mentioned we got to bet Drake May to the Vikings here right now. I'm just curious what the odds are on it right now. Michael Penix, Xavier Worthy. There's no Drake May odds at this current point in time. JJ McCarthy is actually the betting favorite. The Vikings are actually his betting favorite at -110. But Drake May does not actually have a odds on DraftKings specifically right now.
Fair. By the way, at some point in this draft, we want to take Roman Wilson with the hope that Jim Harbaugh just gets his guy and we correlate it to fucking.
Yeah, I mean, we could. Yeah, we could definitely do point.
That. Trey Benson at the 9-11 is also an extreme value. I don't know how Zamir White's going above him.
Yeah, that's crazy. Brian has McBride or Andrews. I'm assuming he means in Dynasty. I like both guys. It really depends on where your team is at. If you're a rebuilding team or a young team, I would prefer McBride. If you're a true tried and true contender, I slightly prefer Andrews.
I would just go McBride because he's got a more liquid market period and probably at least similar, if not better production. I would say, like, obviously,
so you taking McBride regardless of team situation.
Regardless, because I feel like if Andrews has an off year this year, is a lot more likely that he becomes a dead asset given the age complex between them.
Do we want Caleb Loki?
Caleb would be fucking good value here, though. I will say I would want to wait on Drake in case we get the Vikings spot.
And Lawrence is still there too.
Brooks.
Is Brooks on the board?
Brooks is on the board.
Oh yeah, grab Brooks.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I love
Holy crap, we are building a unit.
Yeah, we don't have a tight end yet though, right?
Yeah, I mean, we could make it a 3 build. Plus Hawkins.
Oh my God, Hawkinson's on the board. We're throwing.
He might fall back. We have all the Vikings parts, bro. We have all the Vikings parts.
I know, but we're selling if he goes.
Oh, if he goes, yeah. But, I mean, this is a risk you have to take, man. If we can get Brooks and Hawkinson, like, Brooks wasn't going to fall back to us.
Yeah.
Plus, is it really that bad if we miss out on the mega stack? Because we still have 2 of the Vikings players.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Is there any validity to slightly fading a wide receiver drafted by the Chargers because of scheme? I don't think so, because I think Harbaugh is going to adapt to the fact that he does have an elite quarterback. So I don't think they're going to just go like 380 pass attempts on the season. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to go super run heavy because they have Justin Herbert. Like, they might be middle of the road instead of, high passing volume like they've been.
I mean, I just default back to when you have a top 5 talent at the quarterback position, I have a hard time seeing you be a run heavy offense, but
they might be more run heavy, like we said, but they're not going to be run heavy in relative relation to the rest of the NFL. I don't think. Maybe they will, but I think 580 pass attempts is kind of what you're expecting there.
I will also say quickly, the rebuttal will be like, well, Greg Roman literally did that with the top 5 quarterback with Lamar Jackson, but I more so mean from
quarterback.
Exactly. That's kind of what I was referencing. As good as Lamar Jackson is, like, stylistically, he's not comparable to Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert, better pocket passer. Lamar Jackson, the best out of structure mobile quarterback in the NFL.
So I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say anything.
Oh,
because I'm worried.
Okay, if he does go, who's the default back, lad?
Yeah, I don't think we should take another receiver for a while, to be honest.
Fair.
I like taking a shot on another rookie, but I think you can get Worthy like 4 rounds later. So why not just do that?
Hopefully this guy just doesn't snipe us. What does this team look like? What's his correlation? Yes.
Okay, took Corum. Also potentially future Charger for the correlation though.
Hey, look, if we had taken Hawkinson at the last pick, we would have ended up with Corum instead of Brooks.
That's a good point.
Gotta take risks.
You do have to take risks here. So, what else we got going on here in the chat? IDEP says, you guys hire on Odunze with his reception perception data out? No, because I already knew he was an elite route runner.
It does help.
I'm glad that all the people that thought he wasn't a good route runner are eating crow right now.
Yeah, I mean, it does help too. Like, obviously, I've done my own evaluation. He already graded as a stud prospect in his own right, top 10 prospect with a 90 grade. For reference, Neighbors with a 91, Marvin Harrison Jr. with a 96. Like, he was already viewed as closer to those two than any other receiver was to him. For me, it's just people that had him as like wide receiver 6, wide receiver 7 in the class on the basis that he's not this elite route runner. Like, guess what? Your take just got proven completely wrong because he is indeed that guy as a route runner.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that some people are like, there's actually 0 point. Like Harmon said this too. Why are we arguing Marvin, Malik Neighbors, and Odunze who's better? They're all absolute studs. Like, there's no point of even arguing these guys. Like, spend all of your time and energy arguing wide receiver 4 through 12. There's no point of arguing these top 3 guys.
I agree. What
Rashad White or
quarterbacks are left
Josh
here?
Jacobs, PPR redraft. In full
Jacobs.
PPR becomes a little bit more interesting, but I think I still prefer Jacobs.
Better offense, goal line opportunity, clear cut workload. Like I would
I
still
will
be a
say
little.
though, like in PPR, like Rashad White has
Yeah,
like 75, 80 target upside.
I agree. I'm still a little bit worried that they could add someone in the draft, whether it's a Brandon Allen or another power back. I can see you guys doing that.
Yeah. Can you go to tight end
Sure.
quickly, Spicy?
Yeah.
Nah,
Mm,
nothing standing out to me.
I kind of
What
like
about
Sharps here.
I like Sharps too, yeah.
It's a 3 round discount from
I
last
don't or
year.
do we want to take Ty? Yeah, let's
Nah.
go Sharps. Sharps is
Yeah.
better.
I just don't believe in Ty Chandler, to be honest.
I think he's okay. And Aaron Jones is like I wouldn't be shocked if they went into the season with just Aaron Jones, Ty Chandler, and Dwayne McBride. Like they don't address the running back position with a significant addition. And in that case, I actually think that Ty Chandler would be a huge value at this point in time because Aaron Jones is old. He's got injury concerns and that kind of thing.
For sure.
What if Jonathan Brooks ends up being on the Vikings? we
That would
we
be
drafted
dope.
him already.
That would be dope. Uh, Check what Drake May's ADP is because it might be close to 150, and we may have to take him with this next pick.
So would we be crazy to take both Sam Darnold and Drake
He's
May?
there. I don't mind that.
I don't think it's a bad idea, to be honest. Because
I think I would
what if
rather.
May doesn't go to the Vikings also? Like if May doesn't go to the Vikings, we would have Sam Darnold. Maybe he starts the whole season because JJ went to the Vikings.
Yeah, that's a good contingent option, especially if he's like a round 20 type of player. I will say though, like if him and JJ have similar ADP, I would just go with JJ and take 2 shots that you get the Viking starter, especially for the long portion of the year. You're assuming Justin Herbert's going to be able to hold it down at least for the first 6 or 7 weeks, and you're kind of banking on the upside of the stack long term. So that's what my rebuttal would be if they have similar costs. But if JJ is going like 3 rounds ahead of Darnold and we can't allocate that type of resource to our QB3, I don't mind just waiting and grabbing Darnold and Drake May just go. So we got to play the JJ path, right?
We do. Maybe this is dumb. Maybe this doesn't make any sense. But to me, Sam Darnold has more value if JJ McCarthy is the quarterback than Drake May.
Oh,
Not
I
because,
agree.
like, obviously Drake May is a better quarterback in our opinion than JJ McCarthy, but I also think the strategy that the Vikings would approach it with is that JJ would sit longer as well.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. Obviously, Drake May is more pro ready than JJ McCarthy at this current point. I agree.
Yeah.
That
would be
huge
interesting,
box
but
is
yeah.
ticking.
Do we
me
want to
off.
double cuck it then? If we were gonna go Sam Darnold and JJ, do we want to just like bet one way or the other, go with just JJ or just Darnold?
I don't mind just going both, waiting at QB2 and 3 and doing that because I mean you're still banking on the fact that you're getting the Vikings charter.
Well, we probably have to draft 4
quarterbacks
quarterbacks with this team because we're going to be going light at wide receiver and it's a 20-round draft.
Fair? Yeah, no, that's a good point. Justin Fields still QB21. What? That's wild.
Justin Fields is kind of interesting here, but
I'm
concerned that he's going to sit like 10 games because of the way the compensation of the draft of the
what are the tight
is.
ends?
Like,
is Michael Mayer available?
He is.
I kind of like Michael Mayer here.
I don't mind Otten either, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe. We could go Baker.
Is Baker on the board?
Baker's available. No, Baker's available 100%.
Okay, go Otten then. Yeah, Baker's available. Okay, hopefully we can get Baker with our next pick then. That would be actually kind of nice.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Leggett? Oh,
Legette's still on the board. That's crazy, dude.
Wow.
Okay, so if you guys take nothing away from this video, like you need to be drafting now on these big board calls. Like Xavier Leggett is going to go in the first 40 picks of the NFL draft probably. Like, and he's going to go in the 13-7 hole. Like he'll probably be an 8th rounder by the time Best Ball Mania comes around.
Yeah, facts. Surely nobody snipes this on Baker, right? Baker's like actually a really nice pivot QB2 given our build.
He is a really good. I think he's going to have good spike week potential too. Like,
because I mean he threw
especially we got Evans too. Like you're guaranteed a good spike week with the 12 touchdowns that Mike Evans is going to score this year.
Like who knows? Maybe he's just the cheap stack you need. Like he threw 28 touchdowns last year. Like the spike weeks are there.
And also too, like it's a pretty like. People always talk about like, oh, Baker's got a new offensive coordinator every year, and he does this year with Liam Cohen, but he has worked with him already. And this is the closest thing to continuity that Baker Mayfield has ever had. So, I mean, I'm a Bucs fan, so I'm obviously biased, but I actually do think that Baker can at least do what he did last year from like a production standpoint. And there's opportunity for him to get better. I mean, he was the first pick in the draft for a reason. It's not like he's a talentless player.
Yeah, no, he's funny enough. The comp that I have for him, I've seen actually thrown around a little bit now on the timeline. Some people saying that this guy's higher than even I had him, but we were both pretty shocked at how good Spencer Rattler was when we watched him.
Yeah.
And I've seen takes now, like from, I believe it was Derek Clausen, that said he's no lower than quarterback 5 in this class. Now, I'm not that high because, again, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, I still would rank above a guy like Spencer Rattler. But the discussion for the longest time, it was just the top 6 and everyone else. Like, Rattler is not far off, to be honest. So not far off of Penix, at least in my grade.
I think he's an interesting, like, Giants take him in round 3 as like an early compete with Drew Lock. Maybe he could start some games with DJ coming off of an injury. Like Broncos, the Raiders, the Giants, and the Rams make a lot of sense as like Rattler teams that could like they have older quarterbacks / don't really have a plan, and if they miss out in round 1.
If the Broncos miss out on Bo Nix or whatever, or don't take a quarterback at 12, like he would be a fine pivot option for them too on day 2. Like I can see that totally making sense.
Yeah, I think the Broncos in general might be higher on the middle class of quarterbacks in this draft in general because, you know, it seems like they're not very aggressive going after a quarterback right now. So love to see that. I think Will Levis at 161 is also pretty insane too.
I agree. Oh, I'm liking how this team's rolling out.
Yeah, looks pretty good there. So other questions. Let me scan the chat here, see what we got here. Matt and Raptor Bite going back and forth about Adonai Mitchell. It looks like this was the initial question here was Adonai Mitchell, or Worthy. So I prefer Worthy. Personally, he says, I think Adonai is super underrated. I mean, I don't know what you mean by third, fourth round pick. I hope you don't mean NFL draft because he's going to top 50 for sure. Yeah. Potentially the first.
It's going wrong. I'd be shocked if he doesn't go top 40 at the minimum. Also, in rookie drafts, he's going to be, even if people are lowering on him in that room, like what the floor
is, he'll be a late 1 or early second.
But like that's what I mean. His floor is probably like 202, 203 in a lot of rookie drafts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And if he's a first round pick, his floor is probably like 112.
This is an interesting thing that Matt brings up though. He goes, here's a list of receivers that have 3 or fewer collegiate games of 100+ yards drafted in the first 2 rounds of the draft here. He's like, assuming Adonai goes in the first 2 rounds. George Pickens, Mecole Hardman, Kelvin Benjamin, Dorial Green Beckham, Van Jefferson. And it looks like that's the end of the list by the looks of it. So, I mean, yeah, it's hard to be considered like we're drafting these guys for production. If this was an algebra equation, we're solving for production. So if you're not productive in college, it's like, yeah, you went to Georgia, they ran the ball. You went to Texas, they had other weapons. It's like at some point you got to produce. That's in your career. So that's the thing I worry about with Mitchell is like, I don't know if he's suddenly going to start producing and when the competition gets harder. Maybe he was just like, I know I'm going to the show anyway. I'm just like not going to try that hard until I get there. But I don't know. That makes me nervous.
Yeah, and let's talk about the fact that if Adonai Mitchell had Xavier Leggette's production in this year's like final year, like he'd probably be at
might have for what it's worth. Quinn Ewers sucks as a Texas fan.
But that's if he had that production, he's at minimum what wide receiver 5 consensus.
Yeah, he might even be with wide receiver 4.
Wide receiver 4,
to be honest. Do we take Justin Fields here?
No.
Dude, it's like 40 picks past ADP right now.
It's going to keep dropping,
bro. We need a 4 QB build anyway. We might as well swing the upside in there.
It's going to keep dropping, bro. I don't want to waste the resource.
Okay. I'll let you make the pick. We got 5 seconds.
Polk.
You'll never turn down on Fields there.
We just don't need him if we're going to devote that pick to QB3 already. We already have Baker. We already deviated.
We did, but we need to build a 4 quarterback build in a 20-round draft anyway. So why not go Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, Justin Fields, and either JJ McCarthy or Sam Darnold?
Maybe. I'd rather just wait hard till QB3-4 because I think Herbert and Mayfield should be able to get us over at least for the early portion of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so confident in our wide receiver core that like I'm not really worried about the depth of it.
Yeah, we don't need to take another one. I mean, Audric Estime is worth doing.
Like, I don't think this is probably overkill to take Geno Smith, but we actually do have Charbonnet and JSN.
Yeah, I mean that'd be like that's what I mean. Like if Fields falls back or Geno falls back, maybe we reconsider it at the next pick. It's just like Jalen Polk is just sticking out like a sore thumb at that point, especially in a best ball format, knowing the type of spike weeks he represents, depending on where he goes. Because I feel like he would be a perfect fit for. We mentioned with Brian Thomas being a ceiling raiser at the next level. I can see Jalen Polk being a complimentary 2-3 on a playoff team with a good quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. We got thoughts on the new kickoff rule. I think it's fun. I think it might equal more kickoffs going on in the NFL because kickoffs have been rather boring lately. Those guys hasn't had Brock Bowers and Xavier Worthy, JT Sanders. Yeah, like again, I get it with Adonai Mitchell that he had target competition, but realistically, like a lot of people that are hyping Adonai Mitchell up are slandering Xavier Worthy. Like you can't have it both ways. If Xavier Worthy is a stud and he's keeping Adonai Mitchell from producing, then he should be ahead of Adonai Mitchell.
I mean, I have AD Mitchell ahead just because I like the translatability at the next level, but I mean, they're both relatively similar projections for me. Like their grades are not that far off.
Yeah. We got Odunze to the Bears is probably his worst landing spot. I actually think it's such a good landing spot. I guess in the short term, yeah, you're right. It's probably not great because of Keenan Allen, but I would love Odunze to the Bears, to be honest.
It's why does it still say Deontay Foreman's on the Bears? He's on the Browns.
I think I would have like hammer exposure to Odunze to the Bears because where does he go in a rookie draft? Assuming everybody else gets like decent landing spots. He goes 107 probably, right? Or 108 maybe?
Probably 108 because that's assuming also JJ McCarthy probably goes in the top 8 of the draft.
And like worst case scenario, people aren't concerned about it and he goes 106 anyways, like he was going to go before that. Like, dude, Odunze to the Bears is an awesome landing spot. Like we think Caleb Williams is by far and away the one-on-one in this class. Like by that logic, you get that guy as your quarterback, you're going to be a stud in the long term.
By the way, I just noticed why does it still say Deontay Foreman's on the Bears? He signed with the Browns.
Yeah, he did sign with the Browns. You're right. Steamed Ham says, hey guys, sold the 108 for a projected top 3 first in 2025, a late second, and a late 2024. Yeah, I'm assuming you mean second also, but who knows? Even that's a fourth or whatever. Like you still won that team. He said, I can't see McCarthy / Bowers necessarily contributing to a title as a competitive team. He said a third, was the last pick. So
as much as I love this class, you're telling me anytime I can transition the 108 into a top 3 projected one, like you probably got 2 free seconds here.
Or a second and a third, but yeah,
you got a free second and a third.
That's a great move, dude. I would have done that for the 10 or top 3 first next year, regardless. And like I know the class this year is deeper than next year's class, but like you got a shot at Luther Burden, QB1 and RB1 next year. Like that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean Ashton Janty, like his profile is absurd. Like if
not to mention like all the other dudes, like Quinton Sean Judkins, Omarion Hampton, Jordan James, like all. I literally made a video on 2025 running backs, and there's like 15 that could be second round picks.
I gotta ask you, assuming Ashton Janty was eligible to come out this year, would he have been RB1?
Yes,
I think so too.
Yeah, he would have been 100%. I think that's true of a lot of the running backs in next year's class.
So you mentioned Geno. You mentioned Geno at the last pick, and we do have the correlation here. I don't mind mixing in Geno here.
Yeah, I think Geno's a good value at this point in time.
Yeah, I'd agree. So we have
if we're gonna go McCarthy too, like it's possible we miss a lot of games of McCarthy early on in the season. So you kind of have to bypass that by going with a boring gives you a couple weeks before then.
Yeah. So what are we running here? Are we running a 4-5-7-3 then?
It's 20 rounds.
Sorry, what would that be? 4-5-8-3.
I think we need more running backs. I don't think we need 8 wide receivers, to be honest. I think we should cap it at 7.
So 4-6-7-3, because we definitely do need one more tight end, especially with Hawkinson coming 100%. Back from the ACL.
Yeah. I would argue we might not even – we already took all the Vikings. Never mind. I was going to say I would argue we don't even need to stack up these Vikings pass catchers with a quarterback because the QB – McCarthy just went anyway. So – to be honest, I actually don't mind not stacking the Vikings pass catchers because we already have the correlation anyways with the offense.
No, that's
so
fair.
It doesn't really matter that we get the quarterbacks because if the quarterback situation is wonky and it's like Darnold for 6 games, McCarthy for like 10 games, then we're going to miss out on some weeks there anyway. So who cares about the quarterback?
No, that's fair. Not to mention, I mean, you're betting on Herbert potentially being the carry. Like if that guy, if the opposition is running a McCarthy Viking stack and we have Herbert to potentially have more points than McCarthy and still run the stack efficiently, like we're gonna have a leg up there regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt brings up an interesting point here too. He
Estime is just screaming to me. Estime is screaming to me right now.
Yeah, I like Estime as well. I'm curious about the draft capital. Can you go to the running back position specifically? We could go Fant too, because we do have a lot of Seahawks.
Yeah, maybe if he falls back to the next pick. I definitely think Estime is the clear last.
I love me some. I love me some J.K. Dobbins, right? You see J.K. Dobbins' name down all the way at the bottom of this.
Where's he gonna sign, bro? Where's he gonna sign?
I think he's gonna be like a late August signing somewhere, but I like him still.
Like, fuck, man.
Anyways, Matt says, I'm still blown away by how relatively strong a correlation is there between breakout age and NFL success. It's not discussed at all for Worthy. I mean, I think it's more complex than simple breakout age correlation, but when you have a great breakout age and good production for 3 sustained seasons and you're a 20-year-old true junior coming out, yeah, that's a pretty good profile, especially when you literally broke the 40-yard dash record. It's like people talk about, oh, look at all these terrible wide receivers that ran fast, Dree Archer and friggin' Henry Ruggs and Marquise Goodwin and all these guys. It's like none of these guys had the profile of Xavier Worthy, not even close.
Yeah, no, definitely compared to the other speedsters that people want to.
It's like if this guy busts, like we should never be in on another 4.29 wide receiver ever again, to be honest.
Fuck, man. Fuck. No.
Yeah, John Ross syndrome is right. It's like John Ross had one good season in the Pac-12 as a senior, and people thought he was a great prospect. It's like, no. Like Xavier Worthy had 3 great seasons. His freshman season is better than fucking John Ross's senior season.
Yeah, no, facts. Is there Estimate in the 17th
here? What else we got in the chat?
Dude, wait, real quick. Even if Estimate is a 4th round pick, like I still think that's a really big value in the 17th round. Like the only way that doesn't work out is if he lands in like San Francisco.
Yeah, no, I agree. Last thing I want to say on Worthy too is like small receivers, what do we usually associate them with? Like what's the trait that they might fail in the NFL for this reason?
You're saying like being soft?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Xavier Worthy, he shouldn't be doing it, but I've seen him drop the shoulder on linebackers. Like he's not soft, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely not soft. He might be small, but he's not soft.
That's one way to dislocate a shoulder right there. Taking on a fucking 6'3", 250-pound linebacker at 5'10", $160.
Yeah. Also, like you talk sports. I believe the RB2 in fantasy ran in the 4.7s last year.
But by the way,
also played for Notre Dame.
But Bush, the comp of that is if like you try to meet me in the A gap. Like that's like what Xavier Worthy's just doing on a consistent basis.
Yeah, no, Xavier Worthy trying to drop the shoulder on a linebacker is the funniest, but also the most awesome thing I've ever witnessed as a Texas fan. I'm like, don't ever do that again. But I love that you're that much of a dog.
Yeah, for sure. Estimate combine numbers were abysmal, like no starting running back. Yeah,
well, that's what I just said. I'm like, the last Notre Dame running back finished RB2 in fantasy and ran in the 4.7s also. Yeah, Dylan, we're going to need to shut that down right now.
I have a trade question. Someone's offered me 104, 110 and Zay Flowers for Justin Jefferson. Is that an accept? I mean, not an instant accept.
No, like, I don't think so. The only way I would consider accepting that is if I had like an awful, I am an orphan, only Jefferson on my roster type of situation. Can you like get extra twos just thrown in there?
Well, I mean, not even extra twos because I would want like stable assets if I'm moving Jefferson. Like that 110 would probably need to be the 106.
Yeah, if it's 104, 107 in Zay Flowers, would you do that?
That's closer. That's a lot closer.
Also, this would be under the assumption that this is super flex. If this is one quarterback, I'm instant declining this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hypothetically, let's say it's a super flex league. That's Drake May plus Rome Odunze plus Zay Flowers. At that point, it's probably about equivalent value if you need more assets. It's just the 110 isn't a good enough secondary asset to be able to get here.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so what do we want to do here? Jalen McMillan is still on the board. Which I thought was interesting.
We have 7 receivers, though.
We do. Okay.
Running back?
Tucker Kraft at tight end, maybe. Do we need another tight end still?
We could use one.
Did we take Fant already?
Check if there's Fant available. Quick spicy.
No, he's gone. It's gone. I like Kraft or Ertz. Either one's fine.
Let's go Kraft.
This could be a 4 tight end build, low key. Our tight ends kind of suck. We also have a guy coming off an ACL tear. Like we probably should draft another tight end.
Yeah, we probably do need one. Dude, I actually don't hate that. Not Ertz. You know who I want? 20th round, who's probably going to be available because people haven't caught up to him.
Oh, Ben Sinnott.
Ben Sinnott, baby. Ben fucking Sinnott. That's our 4th tight end.
If you guys haven't watched any Ben Sinnott tape from Kansas State, he's actually so sick, man. Honestly,
he's so good, dude.
He's better than Jatavian Sanders. Both of us graded him higher than Jatavian Sanders, and I'm literally a Texas fan. Like I'm biased in that decision. I was like, I can't not grade this guy higher than Jatavian. So he's better as an NFL tight end projection than Jatavian Sanders is.
Oh, yeah. Let's see what his ADP is. I actually am curious. Spicy. Go to the tight end position. I want to see where he's listed. Like below Davis Allen. Yeah, like what the fuck are we doing? Why is he below Colby Parkinson? We'll take that.
Kyron Williams ran a 4.71 at the combine. No, am I making that up?
You're not making that up. He absolutely
He might have
ran
ran 4.6 at his pro day, but I am only counting the combine time for him. If
Pretty sure he ran a 4.74 at his combine.
Cool. Good for him.
Did
He's
he
not
run
fast.
4.7?
That's the point.
Yeah, like his pro day, it was 4.65, but I swear at the combine he ran the 4.7.
He ran 4.71 at the combine, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Kyron Williams.
I might be wrong on that. Some people are saying 4.65.
Yeah, that's his pro day, I'm pretty sure. Combine. He ran a 4.72 at the combine, I believe. Wait. Combine 40 time here. I absolutely remember it being in the 4.7s, I believe.
Matt's saying it's official 4.65 at the combine, is what he's saying.
His best mark would be slightly better, but inadequate nonetheless. So it was 4.65.
I mean, regardless, 4.65 and 4.71, they're slow times. It doesn't really matter how close they are. It's like arbitrary cutoff aside. We probably need another running back here, eh?
Yeah, it said he ran unofficial.
We're on the clock here, so we gotta make a pick. Scroll down.
Go down for sure. Isaiah
Davis.
Yeah, Isaiah Davis.
Me and Danny are big Isaiah Davis.
Oh yeah.
Spoiler alert. I mean, if you guys have the draft, if you have the draft guide, you know we're big Isaiah Davis guys. But come the time that we put out like rookie sleepers and stuff, spoiler alert, Isaiah Davis is going to be in that video.
I couldn't believe how good he was, man. I actually couldn't believe it.
He was so fun. I'm a little scarred from Pierre Strong because I really liked his film at South Dakota State as well. But Isaiah Davis literally has 2 of the highest 5 PFF rushing grades over the last 10 years. Like 2 seasons as a freshman and this year.
Also worth noting too, the thing with Pierre Strong, which is always the problem I have with the FCS guys, is Pierre Strong won because he was just such a superior athlete to the FCS level. Isaiah Davis, even at the FCS level, isn't a fucking incredible jaw-dropping.
He ran like 4.56 at the combine or something.
Like he won on patience, he won on physicality, he won on running between the tackles, and on top of that, he's also an underrated receiver out of the backfield. Yeah. So I could really see him. Maybe he's not a starter on day one in the NFL, but I do feel like he has starting, James Conner level upside.
Yeah, what did we comp him to? I can't remember what my comp.
I believe mine was James Conner.
Was yours James Conner? I want to look at mine because
if not James Conner, then
I'm sure nobody here has actually listened to or actually watched his film. So I want to just let people know kind of his game. Yeah, Isaiah Davis, my comp for him was Dameon Pierce. That was my comp.
What was mine? James Conner?
Tyler Algier was your comp.
Tyler Algier, same type of vibe.
Yeah, like physical, good between the tackles, runner, underrated receivers. Both of them, Dameon Pierce and Tyler Algier, can both catch the ball a little bit. None of them are I think both of those guys ran in the high 4.5s, low 4.6s, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure.
So yeah, but they're all both very good vision and also good elusiveness as well for their size, and they have workhorse size, both of those guys. So definitely love me some Isaiah Davis.
By the way,
what do we want to do with our last pick? Do we want to take one more tight end? Close this out. Oh my God, Greg Dulcich is a 20th round pick.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. Ben Sinnot's going to be the pick, but like Greg Dulcich going that far. By the way,
I'm worried about the Ben Sinnot pick though, just because we have a tight end coming off of an ACL tear. Do we want to take a more veteran option who's going to produce right away?
I mean, which one?
Waller, I guess.
Is he even going to play this year? He might retire.
Scroll the F down, Spicy. I need to see the other names.
My vote is Ben Sinnot.
Keep going. I mean, Bellinger's okay. I mean, we do have Justin Herbert. We could take like Hayden Hurst or something.
I'm just gonna take Ben Sinnot. They might take Ben Sinnot in the draft.
They might. You're right. I'll roll with Ben Sinnot then, I guess.
It's never bad to go.
Dulcich would have been really nice if Dulcich had fallen to us.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. Dulcich is a 20th rounder.
It's fucking nuts. 104 isn't enough to replace JJ for me. Yeah, I agree. Like it's just the number of assets is fine. Oh my, no fucking shot.
Did he just go?
He just went.
I guess we're taking Waller.
He's gonna retire, bro.
Is he?
Yeah.
Do we take the 5 Donald Parham touchdowns for the Charger stack?
Jatavian Sanders is gone, obviously.
Let's go Dawson Knox.
Yeah.
That's a better option, in my opinion.
Fuck me, man. Is it?
He'll catch some touchdowns next year.
Yeah, but he's gonna be useless.
It's gross. I know.
The majority of the year. Who takes Ben Sinnot from us? You absolutely fucking degenerate.
He cocked us hard.
Fuck me.
Love Noah Fant. Now that Noah Fant. The sneaky underrated thing about him re-signing with Seattle is that Colby Parkinson and Will Dissly signed with other teams. That's sneaky. Yeah. That's sneaky for Noah Fant. It's like Am I really high on Noah Fant still? Not really. But it's a new scheme. It's not Pete Carroll there anymore, and all of the other tight ends are gone.
Trev, trust me, we did not want to snipe you on Dawson Knox there for the reference. We did
that's
not
gross.
we did not want to snipe you on Dawson Knox. We really wanted Ben Sinnott. I cannot believe that he just got sniped a pick before us there. I was licking my chops.
Yeah. Also, to the trade that we were talking about, steamed hams, 104, 110,
He's not
and
gonna be-
Zay
he's not
Flowers
gonna
for
be
Justin Jefferson. That's not going to be Marvin. Maybe it's Drake. That's like your best
be
case
Neighbors.
scenario, I think.
Could be
I
Neighbors,
guess it
too.
could be Neighbors also, but Neighbors plus Adonai Mitchell, Lad McConkey, or somebody like that, and Zay Flowers. It's like, again, if you have an orphan where you like need a lot of things, that's maybe a reasonable trade. But for most team situations, I think I just prefer Jefferson.
Like, unless it's like a start 12, start 13 league, maybe start 11, you consider it. But especially in shallow leagues, like, you just hold your fucking elite asset and you don't think twice about it.
Yeah, you're taking a lot of unnecessary risk
Yeah.
unless you need a lot of depth. There's no reason to do that. Raptor says, "What do you guys think about Jonathan Brooks?" I think Brooks would have been clearly the RB1 in this class had he not gotten injured. He's in a tier for me with Trey Benson and Jalen Wright. It's all going to really come down to where these guys get drafted and who they get drafted by.
Let's do one more.
Do we want to do
I'm
one
down.
more?
Brother, if we were living in a non-Ontario area, I would say, oh, we only do one because we could do it whenever.
Spicy says he cannot, so we can't.
Oh, you can't?
Do one
You can't,
without
Spicy?
him.
Okay,
No,
if
he
Spicy
cannot.
can't, no
So
worries.
we
My fault,
can't
my
actually
fault.
do another one. I actually don't mind keeping this to a 1 hour stream anyways,
Fair.
because
My bad, Spicy.
me and you have to record some other shit later today here, Danny, anyways. So
Okay. Sounds good.
But yeah, appreciate you guys for joining us again. This was Underdog Fantasy Big Board. Again, we cannot run it back, unfortunately, because Spicy is our ghost drafter here, and we're in Ontario. We can't actually do our own drafts. If you guys are interested in doing some big boards, of course, getting ahead of the ADP. I mean, you heard us shouting out values left, right, and center on a lot of these guys. Make sure to sign up over on Underdog Fantasy using the promo code FSE. If you want access to our draft guide, again, I don't think I've officially announced this yet, but especially post-draft, I'm just going to fire a large email to everybody that signs up with promo code FSE with our draft guide. So if you guys want to know what to do in your Dynasty rookie drafts, quickest way is to go to Underdog Fantasy, sign up with $10 using promo code FSE. And also, too, you'll also get a redraft guide for that as well when redraft guide comes out. So definitely interested in that. And again, one last time, I want to plug the Listener Dynasty League. Again, it'll be $100-ish plus startup cost. So if that's okay with you, you can head on over to flockfantasy.com, use the promo code FSE, sign up for an annual mother flocker package. Annual flocker gets you 1 entry. Annual mother flocker gets you 2 entries. Tons of content over there. Trade calculator, trade value chart, our draft guide, rankings, all that stuff. Including all of our film breakdowns. Me and Danny just recorded the Brian Thomas Jr. one today. And then once you sign up over there, fill out the Google form in the link in the description of this video or yesterday's video, all the videos this week. We will draw that on Saturday at noon. Hopefully we will have the startup going live by April 1st, which is Monday, I believe. So if you want access to that league, about, I think 10, 15 people have signed up so far. You have a really good chance of winning a shot into the league with us. So definitely check that out. Again, link down below in the description. But with that being said, peace out, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.